Hello all and welcome to episode 33 of the Sky Fantasy Podcast by Fantasy Football Hub as we look ahead to the remainder of Sky Game Week 14 and ahead to Game Week 15. My name is Andrew and I'm joined as usual by two of the most successful Sky managers in the game. Firstly, Paul McAnulty. Paul, have you had a decent weekend?
It was going well until Arsenal decided to concede against Burnley. Gabriel doesn't look like he's going to get passing bonus either. So what was going to be a decent weekend, kind of taking a back road now, I think.
It was exactly the same. I think Xhaka got a red. It didn't help, did it?
Yeah.
So, and Arsenal, absolute crap, which doesn't help, but there we are. We also have former Sky winner, Dan Cox. Dan, how was your weekend gone?
Yeah, pretty good, thanks, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, right. I think I'm sat on about 92 at the moment, which is pretty good. So had Dallas on Friday. Obviously, he didn't do much. Romeo and a very, very unexpected assist. And Vardy, Kane, captained Salah. Very, very fortunate to get something there, I think. But, and I brought in Zuma finally. Oh my goodness, how nice is it owning Zuma and just watching him?
It was your fault.
Just like flicking the ball left and right every 10 seconds. That was really, really good. So, yeah, all right. Hoping for another rank boost. I'm sure we'll go through our teams and stuff later. Good evening all. As we are live, please feel free to join the chat at any time. Let us know your thoughts on the topics or the relevant sections, and feel free to ask some questions for us to answer at the end. Good evening, Michael Yuong, Glenn Murray, Brownie, Sky FF, Andrew Patterson, Martin Beasley, Mark Wright, Ream Gaming, L England, Phil Speck, Lewis Rice, Pete S, Lodders88, Ross Woodier, and Adam Byram. Lots of scores in the 80s, so it looks like a lot of people have had a good week, and many congratulations to anyone who's captain Vardy. Looks like he's on for a mega haul. Peter G just 75 and 72, pretty good. Off spinning in a hurry, 82 is any good. Yeah, that's probably above average, I would guess. And good evening, Jason Jones, and to Dragos R and Tala Nadeem. Good evening, everyone. For any new watchers and listeners, if you haven't subscribed to us, please press the subscribe button in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. Set the alerts so you don't miss our live streams, which are 9 p.m. every Sunday evening right here on this channel. Also, please press the like button if you enjoy our content. So tonight, Paul will share some bonus stats for us. Dan will share some ownership and transfer stats. We will look ahead to Sky Game Week 15, which is next weekend. Share our plans. We will answer some Twitter questions, give some mini-league updates, and finish off with Dan's rant. So straight into it. And Paul, do you want to share your weekly stats?
Yeah, so I'll just go through the games, looking at Fridays first. Yep. So Leeds 1, West Ham 2. Big bonus scorers in that game were Mesley got shots bonus, tier 2. Ayling and Cooper both got passing bonus. Cooper 6 tackles as well, so he doubled up on the tier 2 bonuses. And Cleek got shots, Rodrigo got shots, and Haller got shots. I imagine there might be a couple of people with Cleek still, but the other two probably really lowly owned. Ayling would have been held by a few still. Looking at yesterday, we have Wolves against Villa, so very, very low scoring in the bonus there. Semedo picked up tier 1 tackles, then Donker tier 1 shots, Moutinho tier 2 tackles, so again, lowly owned amongst active managers. Newcastle game, it was only Almiron and Gale that picked up any bonus, both picked up shooting bonus. Again, both very lowly owned. Man United, Man City. So Diaz and Stones both picked up tier 2 passing. So Stones might be on a few people's radars now. 8.4, I think he is. Rodri picked up passing. Again, he'll be well owned. Bruno picked up tier 1 shots. I know a lot of people did the daisy chain move, so I've been glad to see him only pick up 4 points, but unlucky for those that captained Bruno over De Bruyne. Shaw, Wan-Bissaka, Greenwood all picked up tackles, Lindelof passes. Again, all probably very little owned amongst active managers. And then finished the day with Everton Chelsea. So Chilwell didn't pick up any bonus, which was surprising because the rest of the back four all picked up passing. Reece James done the treble, shots, passes and tackles. So nice 6 bonus points for him. Pickford with shots and Pickford with saves and Richarlison with shots. And then looking at today's games, start chronologically. So Southampton, Sheffield United, Bednarak picked up tier 2 passing, as did Vestergaard. So those that went Vestergaard for that single Southampton captaincy, Dave done really well out of him. Yeah. He looks a shrewd move. Nice 10-pointer from him today. Well, actually picked up man of the match, so that'll be 13-pointer for him today. Romeo picked up tier 2 tackles. Ward-Prowse picked up tier 2 passes. Ings picked up tier 1 shots. Ramsdale with saves. Fleck with tackles. Both will be lowly owned. Palace Spurs. So Kane picked up tier 2 shots. Højbjerg was 1 pass away from tier 2 passes. I know he'll be well owned still and ticking nicely along. Benteke Schlupp with shots. Guaita with saves. He'll still be well owned. I think that was a nice 8-pointer considering he let in that shot.
Fair play though. He made some incredible saves. That one off Dyer right at the end. I was cheering because I was pretty sure it was going in, and how he clawed it over the bar. That was incredible. And the one off Kane as well.
Someone was mentioning about Lloris earlier on again. So although he conceded, he picked up tier 1 saves, so it's a decent return for him. And then Fulham against Liverpool just passed, so a lot of Liverpool players picking up passing tier 2. Robertson, Henderson, Jones, Fabinho, Jones and Salah with passes. With shots. And then I think all the Fulham players are lowly owned, so it's maybe not worth going through them. And then 2 games that I've just finished, I know they're not up on screen, but there's some nice returns for. It was Fofana picked up tier 1 passes, so a nice 9-point return for him. And yeah, there wasn't, amongst well-owned players, there wasn't much other bonus to talk about from that game. And Arsenal game, Pope picked up tier 2 saves, so a lot of people have overlooked Pope this season, and even in the hard games, Pope returns are pretty decent. Aubameyang with shots and Holding with passes, and that was the only bonus there. Probably the less said about Aubameyang, the better, I think.
There's Aubameyang's own goal. I doubt that counted as a shot on target, did it? But anyone's still holding on to Aubameyang. They're just woeful Arsenal, aren't they? Oh my goodness. But I'm sure we'll touch on a few of the things later. But some of the football, some of the teams are playing. I find it really strange because Southampton just for example are playing this really free flowing, aggressive, lovely looking football. You've got Spurs who just go and score a goal and then just camp on the edge of their box for 80 odd minutes. No wonder Lloris is making loads of saves. As a Spurs fan, it's quite scary actually, because Palace should have have won earlier. That Man United game was absolutely bizarre. Fulham should have beat Liverpool as well, and Burnley had just beaten Arsenal away. What the hell is going on? It's absolutely crazy weekend.
Looking at the bonus for the last 4 weeks, and just to finish off the stats, I don't want to go through them all because there's a lot of people that come up constantly, but a couple of standouts for me is Reece James, 7.8. So he's got 11 bonus points now since game week 10. Another Rodri, 8.3. He's got 9 bonus points since game week 10. Fabianski from West Ham, 11 bonus points for 6.6. I know a lot of people are considering a goalkeeper move. Wouldn't be for me, but there's an alternative for you if you're considering.
I think we'll look at the fixtures in a little bit from now to the overhaul, but Man City's are top of the shop, and City's first 8 or 9 games were quite hard, which is maybe why Rodri wasn't hitting all the time. But their run from now onwards, obviously he's right up there in the last 4, and their run now until overhaul is absolutely gorgeous. So at 8.3, he could be a really, really nice option there. So moving on to ownership. So we've got a graphic up for YouTube watchers. So this is the ownership levels for the top 1K. Dan, do you want to give us some stats?
Yeah, do you want me to go through that top 10 owned first, and then do the ins and outs?
Yes.
So De Bruyne, the most owned, 82.2%. Then Bruno Fernandes, 80.4%. Jack Grealish, 76.8%. We've all got Vardy, haven't we? So it was I was pretty buzzing with that goal and a couple of assists, but he's in 75.1% of the top 1,000. So Yeah, I know that's a gain on 25% of teams, but he's in quite a lot of teams, so I was hoping he'd be in a few less. Kane in 65.2, Salah in 56.4, so nice gain on him. Zuma in 55.5, he's really getting up there now. Dallas in 41.4, Ward-Prowse in 39.7, and Calvert-Lewin in 37.8.
Cool. And then the ins and outs?
Ins and out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the top 5 ins, the most transferred in player this week, I was surprised. Ward-Prowse, 16,000 teams.
Wow.
I suppose I was going to bring in Ings on the Monday, but when he weren't starting, it was like I brought in Ward-Prowse because who else? So yeah, so that's maybe why. Zaha into 16,000 teams. That'll be effective his 19 point or whatever it was last week. Salah into 9,000 teams. Grealish into another 7,700, and De Bruyne into another 7,700. That's your top 5 ins. Top 5 outs. James Rodriguez out of 29,000 teams. That's just over 7% of the whole game.
Wow.
So that's how much he was owned, and just terrible. And after the first 2 or 3 weeks,
I was going to say, I'm surprised 29,000 people still had him.
It's mad, isn't it? So him, Ziyech, 18,000 teams. He's been a bit of a disaster, isn't he?
He's going to be back though, I think, like next week. I'm not sure where
apparently so. Harvey Barnes out of 4,500 teams, just not starting, is he? Not starting the games.
It's a strange one because he starts in Europe and basically scores in every game in Europe, and he scores when he comes on as a sub most of the time in the league as well.
I like him, but obviously Brendan, he knows better.
Fancy him, does he?
Jota out of 4,500 teams, no surprise, he's out for 6 to 8 weeks, isn't he?
Really unlucky pick that is, I think, for anyone who picked him.
Yeah, that is unlucky. And then Calvert-Lewin out of 3,996 teams. So that's your top 5 ins and outs. I'll quickly go on to the transfers remaining. The average for the top 10 is 4.4. Average remaining for the top 100 is 12.1. Top 1,000 is 19.3. And the top 5,000 is 21.2.
Superb stuff. So we've got the graphic up there for everyone, just to see. So you can plot your own progress on the tracker, and as long as you're above the line, you're doing okay. So don't worry about it. So we'll just leave that up for a little bit there. Just a few questions we had in the chat. What to do with Gabriel? It's a really interesting one. We'll show some fixtures in a moment, but Arsenal have actually got some decent fixtures coming up, supposedly according to our ticker, from now until the overhaul. Paul, you've got Gabriel the same as me. What are your kind of initial thoughts on Gabriel?
I don't know who I'd move on to. I made one of my things this season. One of my 2 rules for myself this season wasn't to mess around in the 8 million midfielder bracket, because I could move up to midfielder, use the money there. But I'm tempted just to hold him for just now. I like Reece James' fixtures. There would be an opportunity to move on to Reece James from Gabriel with the gain of an extra game on Monday the 21st. Might be something I'd contemplate, but at the moment I'm holding.
But Gabriel has been doing okay, and I do wonder, that is it just raw? Is it just because he's just lost his clean sheet in the half hour?
I think so.
Because if he'd have kept the clean sheet and hit bonus, which if Zaka had stayed on, he would probably have done both. Would he be even having this conversation? He would have had a 9-pointer, and we would have been Gabriel. What a pick, brilliant. So yeah, I personally hold, for a few weeks and just see how Arsenal are, because even though Arsenal aren't scoring many, they're not conceding many either, and their next few games now, so they've got, well, actually their next 3 are not the best looking. After that they're okay. They got Southampton, Everton and Chelsea next 3, so maybe not that good. Arsenal in trouble, isn't it?
Get rid, I think.
Well, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see.
Arsenal are just terrible, aren't they, at the minute? I just don't know what's happened to him, but I don't know. I know we say like about who else could he get in, but I think I'd be tempted to shift him on, because I don't know. Yeah, he could have got passing today, couldn't he, if Zach would have stayed on and stuff, but I just don't know.
If Vestergaard or Fofana had better fixtures, I might have considered downgrading, again, looking for an extra game somewhere, but I'm tempted just to hold at the moment.
Okay, so this week, just going to do something a bit back to front. We're going to look at our at next week's games and plans for next week first, just in terms of what we're thinking, and then do the questions and everything else after. Because otherwise we're just answering the question before we do this. But anyway, looking at next weekend's games. So obviously this week now, I think we've all got our plans in place for this week. So there's obviously games Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. I think the majority of us, KDB home to West Brom on Tuesday. Wednesday's been an interesting one because Wednesday, I think Vardy's home to Everton. And is there any real kind of standout captain on the Wednesday? I'm not 100% sure on that, but Vardy home to Everton is probably a decent one there. And obviously United away to Sheffield United on the Thursday, though Grealish is home to Burnley on the Thursday as well. I think it's part of our daisy chain, which we'll touch on now. I know Ian has mentioned all three of us anyway, and lots in the chat as well, are all going to be coming off Vardy on Wednesday, which was the original plan anyway, even though he's smashing it, coming off Vardy on Wednesday, going on to Bruno on Thursday. Dan, is that still your plan?
Like I said, I've got that love-hate relationship with Vardy. I mean, he's one of them ones I'm just tempted to leave in all season, just because I know I'll be sat here so many times raging because he scored a couple of goals when he's touched the ball like 3 times and he's got 2 goals or whatever. So the plan was to get rid of Vardy for Bruno, but they have got, I know they're after Everton, but they have got Spurs and Man U after that. So I think I'll probably stick to the plan and just take the points that I've got in the last couple of games and jump off him. But, it is hard because he is in form. The only worry is Bruno, like how much he's owned and the points he can get in. So that is hard, mate. I'll probably still go through with it is what I'm trying to say. But when he does like what he does today, you do think like, why am I taking this guy out of my team?
And his ownership's high as well. He's like 74% owned.
75, yeah.
It's a really high ownership in the top 1K, isn't it? How about you, Paul? What are your kind of initial thoughts at the moment on that?
Well, I think we've mentioned quite a lot of season about holding transfers back, and now I feel I've got a settled defence. I've got the defence that I want in place. So I've not I know we're talking about Gabriel there, and you're right, it's probably raw from coming off that game where he should have got a 10-pointer. So sells to hold Gabriel long term because I thought he was a good long term pick. I've got no problems in defence. I'm happy with my goalkeeper. Yeah. So I'm sitting with Bruno, De Bruyne, and Salah and Kane. So when I'm looking at the 3-for-1s or the 2-for-0s, I feel that I can use my transfers on those moves, and therefore I will be taking Vardy out. And he has got a tough couple of games where I wouldn't be captaining him. I don't think he'll be highly captained as well. And then there'll probably be an opportunity to jump back on and swap one of those 4 out for a couple of games for him. And then perhaps there's another daisy chain comes up with the fixtures. So that's kind of my initial thoughts on it just now. I am going to move Vardy back to Bruno on Thursday. I might get back on him at some point in the near future.
Yeah, I think I'm doing the same. And this is something we talked about, I think, in the pre-season pod around... obviously the structure of the team is so important, making sure that people have got kind of roles within your team. So what you mentioned there, just as example, so your keeper's your keeper. You've got a settled defence. You've got those 4 big hitting premiums, and I've got for example Grealish, who I think is dispensable potentially. Maybe not yet. They've got another 3 lovely fixtures now, but after that he's maybe dispensable. And this whole kind of Vardy Bruno thing as well, where you can afford, as you say, to use those 1 or 2 players to move around and leave your core kind of 8 or 9, your top players are not going anywhere, unless they're injured, etc. But no, I do agree. You can't have all of them without compromising your team, or without like taking out Gabriel, putting him down to a really cheap defender to bring someone else up. You're using more transfers then, right? So I think I'm doing it as well. But as you say, you can then have a look in a couple of weeks' time, look how the fixtures fall. Andrew Patterson has just said Vardy back in on December the 28th, just as an example. So he's obviously spotted something there. We'll get an extra game and the fixtures may turn and stuff. So, some really good shouts there. So moving then onto the weekend. So Saturday the 19th of December, we get Palace and Liverpool. So it's the early games. So we get to see the team sheets there, which may help actually, because obviously Salah will play against Spurs. Oh, and Salah and Kane were the other captaincy options on the Wednesday, weren't they? But we'll get to see if Salah starts against Palace. You would imagine he would, even though he came off early today. He will very likely play 90 against Spurs. Then it's Southampton and Man City at 3 o'clock, Everton, Arsenal, Newcastle and Fulham. On Sunday, Brighton and Sheffield United is the early game, Spurs and Leicester, Man United, Leeds, West Brom and Villa. And then Monday, this is the interesting one, because this is the one where it's this hop-on time potentially for Chelsea players. Burnley and Wolves and Chelsea and West Ham. The problem is we won't see that Chelsea lineup, which is a bit of a shitter. So Saturday, Dan, what are your thoughts on at this point captaincy for Saturday?
I was going to go for Salah, but Salah or De Bruyne, I think it's one of them two for me, really. Flip a coin. But I have to see. No, all the Champions League's finished now, isn't it? That's all done.
Yeah, Man City have got a EFL Cup game in the week, the next week, which obviously they'll rest De Bruyne for. So
I'll tell you what, I probably will go for Salah because that's the first game of the day, so I know he'll be starting. And Salah. I think I'll be on Salah.
I think with Palace as well, even though it was 1-1 earlier, Kane could have easily scored a couple of goals. Keeper made some incredible saves, even though the score was only 1-1 and Palace kind of dominated the game. Their defence isn't the best, is it? So he's should get something if he starts. And the Sunday
20th, Bruno Fernandes, I think, home to Leeds, should be on for some points. You have got Kane, haven't you, against Leicester? Again, I'll flip a coin.
Yeah,
Kane's got a really good record against Leicester, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure that was the one he scored. He's got a couple of hat tricks against them, I think, hasn't he?
He scored 4 at the end of one season, didn't he?
Yeah.
When that was the last day of the season, I was sure that was like 3-3 or something. When he got a few, and then when they beat him 6-2 or something like that there, and so Kane or I forgot I said Kane or Bruno for Sunday.
And then the Monday, we all want to know what you're doing with Chelsea. Are you just going to stick with Zuma, or are you thinking about the Spurs-Chelsea 3-1?
I had sort of earmarked that as getting Werner in, because it's like, he's going to score big at some point. I just don't know if he is. Do you know what I mean? Like, Giroud's now playing. I prefer Giroud to Abraham. Do you know what I mean? But I don't want to bring him in and then you don't see the lineup, do you? So I might just go for Zuma. Do you know what I mean? Because it'd just be frustrating to take Kane out for Werner, who probably failed to score in all 3, and then you use 2 transfers to then put Kane back in. So I might just go with Zuma. Do you know what I mean? Hope for passing. Well, should get passing and hopefully a clean sheet, and that'll do. I'd just rather save the transfer, but I don't know. As we get closer to it, I might be tempted for Werner, but
it's unfortunate for those that hold Patricio and want rid of him, because if Wolves had played earlier on in the game week, they could have moved him on for Pope, because it'll turn out Pope's probably the best captaincy choice on that day.
Yeah, true.
And Tom Hart in the chat, really good point actually. Don't fancy Grealish against West Brom. So on the Sunday, Grealish plays away to West Brom, which obviously another really good option there, because West Brom look a bit naff at the moment as well.
Yeah.
With the Chelsea game, it's a tough one, isn't it? Because with Zuma, he's probably not going to score any more than 9 or 10 points, whereas Werner is probably going to bang at some point. And if he does bang, and gets 18 or 20 points, he's captain, and you have Zuma as well, you're down to make massive gains there. I suppose it's really balancing, and it's up to every individual to kind of make a decision on whether you think that upside is worth the risk of using a transfer, and probably a transfer back as well. But I think that's everyone's kind of individual risk appetite. Maybe if you're chasing, for example, you may see it as a really good opportunity to claw back 30 odd points on everyone. And as James Street has just put in the chat, Werner's only owned by 7.1% in the top 1K. He has looked dangerous. He didn't yesterday against Everton, but he has in the previous games. He's done everything but score, haven't he? So could be one there. What are your thoughts for captaincy and transfers on the weekend, Paul?
Salah, Kane, and Zuma, and I won't be making any transfers.
Not you.
Unless Gabriel annoys me against Everton and a rage transfer him to like Reece James on Monday maybe, but I don't think so. I think I'll stick on that.
And Liverpool haven't got a game then for a week after that. So if Salah does start, we see the team sheets. If Salah does start, because they haven't got another game midweek, he'll probably play at least 80 minutes or more in that one. So if he does start, he's probably golden, I would guess. I'd probably go for Salah if he starts on the Sunday. It's a really hard one actually, because I'd probably go for Bruno. So Leeds are not very good at defending, as we know, corners and free kicks and things like that. So you can imagine that Bruno potentially could have some joy there. And the way that Leeds play, they always leave themselves very, very open as well to the break and things. And and even though United are not playing fantastically well at the moment, they do break very, very quickly and very, very well. You can just see Bruno kind of sliding it through to Rashford to score a goal or two. So I don't know. I'll probably go for Bruno, I think, on the Sunday. And then on the Monday then, so I've got Zuma now in my team. I think it will be a bit of a gut call. I'm not sure. There's also the option of potentially moving. I was having a look earlier. So Chelsea have also got a 3-1 over Southampton. And Romeo's game is away to Fulham. And, Fulham like to keep the ball. So you wouldn't imagine that Romeo would get much there. You could potentially move Romeo to Reece James, for example.
How dare you?
How dare you? But that means you get an extra Chelsea player. Not sure who you'd captain still, whether it would be James. And obviously James isn't guaranteed to start because you'd imagine Azpilicueta may get one or two of the games.
He'll get a rest, won't he, for sure, one of them games.
So it's just an idea, but it saves you having to take out Kane, because Kane is your long-term sort of pick. He's a golden boy. He gets man of the match most games. He's had the most in the game this season, I think, haven't he? So
5, yeah.
So he's a tough one to take out, even if you're gonna only miss the one game away to Wolves, because you're gonna have to move another transfer to get him back. Just some thoughts there. Look at Ian Parrin's transfer planner. There are opportunities there for 3-for-1s. Obviously, make the one that is kind of worth it for your team. Just a couple of questions and comments. Fire and Blood, Phil Hurst. Werner is useless. Werner looks hopeless. Werner is the new Torres. But Ream Gaming disagrees. Werner will bang soon, and Norman Conquest more chance of a Brexit deal than Werner banging. They're quite torn on that one. James Street says with Jota for 2 months, Salah will play. Completely agree. We get to see the lineups anyway. So there's no big deal there. And Louis Rice asks a question. I don't have anyone for Monday, captain. Is that a deal breaker, or should I bring someone in? Can't afford Zuma as I'm 0.2 million short.
Reece James in if you can't get to Zuma.
I think it's the same price.
No, same price. Sorry,
yeah. I don't think it's a deal breaker. Personally, it's not like there's a hat trick opportunity there. Really, you bring in Werner if you want, to try and get the 3-for-1. But
you could always do some sort of daisy chain move that if you knew if there was a big hitter or a medium price player that you wanted out long term, or even so take out someone for Zuma and then bring that person back in afterwards.
Yeah. Good shout for that. So we had some questions on Twitter. Let's just have a look at a few of the questions we had. I need to get rid of Harvey. This is off Chris Hermitage. I need to get rid of Harvey Barnes, who is the best replacement. I think Barnes, was he 8.2? Was he?
Sounds about right.
Something about that.
I know it's boring, right? But if you haven't got Zuma, get Zuma. That's my initial shout. Anything else, guys, in that kind of range, in the 8 million range?
I'd go with I'd be looking at that sort of the most owned list and see if there's any of them you don't have. Do you know what I mean? It depends where you are, really, but I'd be sort of looking at those players or the top point scorers, really. But yeah, you can't go wrong with those ones, can you? Zuma and Well, yeah, Zuma. I think you've got to have Zuma in there. But yeah, I'd be looking just at what percentage ones are owned, and they're owned for a reason, aren't they? So I'd be bringing those in.
It's boring. We know we talk about the same players every week, but this is because these players are the best players in the game, and they're the ones who are getting all the points. So,
do you know who I quite fancy? Cleek from Leeds. So Leeds have got really good fixtures. He's on penalties. He had went under, he wasn't picking up many points over the last 5 or 6 game weeks, but he was taking a lot of shots from just inside the box as well. So he might be someone to have a look at. I think he's 7.3.
Yeah. Really good question here from Dean Miles, and this is something for if people own Chilwell and they want to get down to Zuma. This could be a really good opportunity here. So Dean has Chilwell. He doesn't like Werner particularly. Would it be a waste to take Kane out for Zuma and then swap Chilwell back for Kane when I put him back in? I prefer to have Zuma over Chilwell long term, but don't want to do a straight swap. I think that I personally think that's a really good idea. Any other thoughts there, gents?
Yeah, because you're getting 2 Chelsea defenders for the 2 or 3 games before moving out the one that you don't want.
Yeah, I definitely think that's a really good idea there. Question around Lloris mentioned earlier, is Lloris worth the 0.1 million upgrade from Patricio if you're changing keepers? He's gone under the radar for cleans and saves. Spurs look solid at the back and have a good run coming up. Patricio owners, I feel so sorry for you. He's in my second team and just awful. He doesn't get anything, does he? Always just concede as well. And their fixtures are not the best for a little while yet either. They have got Chelsea, Spurs and United in their next 4 or 5 games as well. Dan, what do you think about moving up to Lloris if you're just sick to death of Patricio?
Yeah, we've said before, haven't we? Because he's 6.9, I'd just spend that 0.1 million if you got it and go to Mendy or Lloris. We talked about both of them. Or, like we said before, just flip them out to Meslier or Martinez. I don't like messing about with the keepers. Do you know what I mean? I've had Martinez and I'm just going to keep him there to the overhaul. I know a few people did the Guaita to Martinez, so they were pretty happy Saturday. Then you see he gets man of the match today in tier 2 saves, which I'm taking the credit for, by the way.
Of course.
Did you see I tweeted out?
Yeah, I did. He's like the worst player.
When he let that was what was he doing with that Kane shot? That was just, what was he doing? So I tweeted out he's rubbish. And then he turns into Manuel Neuer, didn't he? Yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, I would spend it. I'd just spend 0.1 and get Lloris or Mendy. Go with Lloris. You mentioned Lloris, and then just leave him in till the overhaul. But yeah, Patricio's he's just been a nightmare pick, and he really just hasn't done nothing, which is unfortunate for owners. But yeah, time to get rid now.
And they've moved to a 4-4-2, haven't they? And even when they had the 5 at the back, you were kind of having an hour and think, oh well, maybe you'll get the clean sheet or whatever. But just since they moved to 4-4-2, try and score more goals, and because they haven't got Jimenez at the top, kind of holding the ball, they've got all those youngsters up there. They just can't hold the ball; they just get bombarded. So. Yeah, I think I honestly think if I had him, I'd be looking to get rid. It's just finding the right time to get those extra gain, those kind of extra points, and also think about your next move as well. Because there's no point bringing in Lloris for 0.1 and then being 0.1 short on a move that you had your eye on in the future. So I think that's really important as well. We have had a few questions about defenders. Getting rid of Dallas potentially. Fofana, Vestergaard option. So what we've got up next are the defensive fixtures now from now basically until the overhaul. I don't think it's quite until the overhaul. On the overhaul here. So we've got it from this is FPL game week 13 to 22. I think there might be an extra one on top of here, but just to give some idea on who has got the best fixtures now from now until the overhaul, roughly. Right at the top are Man City. So if you look at that run, so in their next 3 they've got West Brom and Newcastle. They have got a couple of toughish away games, away to Everton, away to Chelsea. They're then home to Brighton, home to Palace, away to West Ham, home to Sheffield United, and away to Burnley. So Man City's defence is absolutely mint until the overhaul. So if you are thinking of anything, I know we mentioned Stones earlier. I personally wouldn't go for Stones, only not because of anything except he will miss games, and who's to say Laporte isn't just going to come in next week or the week after and and take his place back, whereas Diaz is nailed. I mentioned it last week. I do think Ederson is still a good shout. If you can afford to upgrade to Ederson, 9 points for a clean sheet. I think they've kept 5 clean sheets on the bounce now. So Ederson has scored, for 45 points? That's minimum. That's without any save bonus in the last 5 games. So I personally think Ederson is a good shout. Second is Arsenal, and this is interesting because obviously we were talking about Gabriel and what to do with him, but Arsenal have got the second best fixtures, as a group of fixtures from now until the overhaul. Then is Leeds, which is interesting because we're talking about getting rid of Dallas. This is if you're a fixtures person, right, which I am. So I look at fixtures in blocks to make decisions on my team, and so Man City, Arsenal, Leeds. You've then got Liverpool, Man United, Fulham, West Ham, and Leicester after that. Down the bottom, the team with the worst fixtures from now until the overhaul from a defensive perspective are Southampton. So, we've been talking about Vestergaard, just for example. Bednarek, he's been getting attacking returns as well. I think he got, was it a goal last week, assist this week, whatever it is. And then you've also got West Brom, Palace, Burnley, and Brighton, which, we're not really going to look at anyway. I don't think, Lamptey aside, who missed a day, we think he was rested. But Dan, I suppose, looking at that, I think it gives a really good picture of kind of what to expect from now until the overhaul. What are your thoughts on, on the players to look at and the players to avoid?
Yeah, so as soon as we knew when the second overhaul was going to be, I instantly got the hub ticker up and looked and organised it so we could see it there. And I just don't know, with Dallas, I'll just keep him at that price. I could flip him out for Fofana, but he probably will get more points than him. But is it worth a transfer? I'm just happy to leave him. When we talked before, I don't know, Paul. Did you want to talk about Vestergaard and Southampton sort of thing, or do you want me to cover it?
Niall asked it in the chat earlier as well, just by the way.
I just think, we did say before, Vestergaard, if you'd have had Vestergaard already, when he got the goal Monday and then the clean sheet today, and do you know what I mean? That's great. I think loads of people are going to bring him in now, and the fixtures aren't. I know Southampton have been doing amazing. Do you know what I mean? I hope it carries on, but maybe not Arsenal, but then Man City. Do you know what I mean? They got Liverpool. This is all before the overhaul. Liverpool, Leicester, Arsenal again, United. If you haven't got him in, you probably have missed his biggest hauls of the season already, in them 2 games. If you owned him for that, that's brilliant. But I can imagine you bring him in now and they're conceding the next 2 or something like that, and he might not get pass and bonus, and I just don't know. So something just to be wary of. I can see people just bringing him in without even then looking ahead to the fixtures. Might be okay what we're saying. I would look at the fixtures and think they are rated sort of bottom for the fixtures until the overhaul.
He's a nice hold. I wouldn't be in a hurry to get rid of him if I held him, but I wouldn't be in a rush to bring him in. Actually, someone that you just got rid of, Fergie, but I think is going to score well until the overhaul is Ayling. If you look at Leeds' fixtures, and he seems to be picking up passing bonus consistently now.
He played at centre back.
Yeah.
But who's the replacement centre back after Cock? I can't think of his name.
It's Cooper. All right, yeah. Llorente was injured for 2 weeks.
He's out for 2 weeks. So I've had Ayling, since the overhaul, and Ayling played at centre back last night because Llorente was injured. Ayling smashed passing bonus. You would guess that when Llorente is back, Ayling will go back to right back. And even though Ayling has done okay, he hasn't hit.
They are playing all the teams. They are playing all the teams that give away possession though to the opposition. So when you look at it's Newcastle, I know it's Man United after that, Burnley, West Brom, Spurs, Southampton, Brighton.
So are you saying not to get rid of Dallas then?
Yeah, I'm not getting rid of Dallas. I like the fixtures. 6.4 million. I don't know what. There's not another Soyuncu this season. So
I think something which I've learned off you guys, and obviously when we were doing the podcast towards the end of last season, there were these opportunities to have these captaincies, these big ass captains that if we'd have held transfers back earlier in the season, we could have jumped on. And I always remember Antonio home to Norwich. The only reason we didn't do that move was because we didn't have enough transfers. Now, my kind of way of thinking of it is now, I could move Dallas to Fofana, which may work or may not. It probably will. You know, he might get 10 or 20 extra points over the next 8 or 9 weeks. Or do I want to jump on a plun home tie and have the best captaincy option towards the end of the season where you can get 20, 30, 40, 50 points? I know where I want to spend my transfers. So my advice on this, you know, and obviously everyone take it as you want, right? But if you've got Gabriel, Dallas, you know, Zuma, Diaz, all these players, I just wouldn't be, you know, Martinez. We said about Martinez last week, don't give it to Martinez because he will have an odd haul and then he'll do nothing for a couple of weeks and then he'll do well again. Just leave them be and focus your transfers where you're going to get the biggest upside. So that's my personal advice on all these things. And as you say, Dan, you know, we did exactly the same thing when you know had the overhaul date, and this is why I've held on to Gabriel, because those teams there have got the best fixtures. You know, and if you look at Gabriel's stats up until this game in particular, he's done well in most games. He's probably averaging 5 odd points a game. Where if you look at it, even the premiums only average 6 or 7 a game. So that's kind of our take on it. Anything else to say on that, gents? You know, in that kind of defensive area.
No. Unless it's the sort, like, unless you've not sorted your team structure out now and sort of the template that you want, then make the moves to do that. But yeah, I wouldn't be making like for like moves.
Cool. I think the only thing I would, you know, I know I've mentioned it, but if someone is looking to take out Patricio, I personally, and it's only my view, I think, but I think Ederson would be a hell of a pickup if you can afford it, if your structure allows. I think, you know, if you've got a double up of, a triple up of Ederson, Diaz, and Kevin De Bruyne going into these run of games, I think you will score a lot of points. But you know, that's my advice there.
I'd go down to Mesley.
Well, they yeah, of course, because Leeds are good as well, aren't they? But Leeds' defence is just not very good, whereas Man City's is. But, you
get saves bonus. You get saves bonus quite a lot. Okay. 6.1.
That's because they can't defend.
Yeah, that's a pity about.
I don't care. He picks up points. He picks up points.
But that is a pity about Stones. Like I say, people talk about Stones, but like you said, you just know Laporte will probably start the next one or something like that. And
or Garcia, Ake.
Yeah, it's just, you know, not for me. Kev Diaz and I don't know, Walker's probably safer, but he's a bit more money in and stuff like that. But I think just stick with Diaz and, like Fergie said, go for Ederson. But yeah, unfortunate for Stones, not for me.
Some really good points here off Matt Woolley and Martin Beasley. So should we now factor if matches are in COVID tier 2 or tier 3? I was thinking this earlier actually. So Palace and Fulham today with 2,000 fans got unexpected draws against the top 2 teams. Until this point, home and away has been irrelevant. And Martin asks, crowd was a big help to Everton as well, Matt. You know, I do personally think that it does help, you know, and maybe we should start thinking about home and away a little bit more than we have previously. I think that. Any thoughts, gents, either way?
Didn't help Arsenal.
No, it didn't. And well, you say that. Brownie's just said that Pope got man of the match, so maybe they just couldn't score. And I'm sure I saw it earlier. Maddison got man of the match for the Leicester game, which will not great for Vardy owners, but expected with a couple of goals. I think there.
I don't know if London's supposed to be going into tier 3 anyway, and I think they were talking about. But we find out, is it this week, isn't it? With 16th or whatever, we'll find out what tiers they're going to be in. But yeah, maybe it's something to have a look at. And but God, all the other things you got to think about as well. Now you got to think about who's got a crowd there as well, and just to make things more complicated for you. I've
just flicked now to the best attacking fixtures. They're very similar. It's not exactly the same, but the best attacking fixtures from now until the overhaul: Man City again, Arsenal, Leeds, Liverpool, Man United, and on the bottom, Burnley, Palace, West Brom, and Southampton as well there. So it's just just to kind of show you, if you're a member of the hub, Fantasy Football Hub, go on the website, click on fixtures, and you can look at this fixture ticker, you can filter it to whatever you want, by game week, by team, by stat, whatever you want. It's really, really, really useful, and so it's good for long-term planning. Because I think now, gents, I don't know about you, but I think we're now in the kind of realms of thinking of every transfer we make that's not a captaincy transfer. We should be looking at when the overhaul is, and is this a good pick now until the overhaul? Because we're not that far away, are we? So, do you agree with that, Paul?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I still want to go on to the overhaul with a decent transfer account that I can then start thinking about differentials later on in the season.
I agree. We had a question off Ian Parrin about the transfer trail and the 3-for-1, which we were talking about earlier. So I think we all answered the Bruno Salah Vardy question. So all of us did that move, and all of us are continuing on that move now. We've also touched on Chelsea and Spurs. I don't think any of us are really that excited potentially about the Chelsea attacking assets. I suppose the only thing I would say is, in terms of a strategy, I would just have something in mind of what you might do. If Chelsea play really, really well in their previous game, Werner looks really good, or for example, we get news, Lampard says that he can't afford to rotate over Christmas, he's going to play his best team in every game, or whatever, any kind of news. I just think have that plan in place, so whatever decision you want to make, then you will understand the repercussions at the time, because there's no point rushing a decision, which I've done in the past. I've done live on a stream this season, where you make a rush decision with 5 or 10 minutes left till the deadline. They very rarely, if ever, work out. But I don't think we're potentially excited at the moment at Chelsea. Again, it may be a bit raw because they were so poor against Everton. But yeah, let's just have a look at their next game or so and see what kinds of ends up there. Just a quick reminder, and it's not a reminder because it's the first time I've said, but I've just got a quick plug for this coming Wednesday for FPL Live. So it is called FPL Live, but it's a fantasy football commentary show, which we started last year. We haven't had the opportunity to do it yet this year due to the fact that every single game has been staggered. But for those who haven't seen it, it's brilliant fun. Myself, Paul, and 8-time top 10k FPL finisher Rich Clark are going to provide fantasy football commentary for the 8 p.m. games on Wednesday. What the goals and everything else means from a fantasy perspective. The stream will be over on our FPL channel. So for those who haven't subscribed to our FPL channel, it is in the description below. I think it's about the 5th link down. So go and set yourself a reminder for that. It's brilliant fun. You'll really enjoy it, and you'll get myself and Paul again chatting everything fantasy football as the goals go in. So just a quick plug for that.
I'll keep a live update on how Dan and I's combined FPL scores doing against you and Adams.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting there, isn't it? Just a couple more comments in the chat. Fire and Blood. Will anyone catch the overall leader if the team is 200 plus points up? Absolutely. That is nothing at this stage. Absolutely nothing.
Happens every season.
It does. And he also asks, is 22 transfers remaining okay if you're in the top 250? So yeah, I think actually that's pretty decent. In terms of looking back at the averages, I think you're probably kind of roundabout where the averages are. You may just want to hold off a little bit now. Potentially, I would say, and only make transfers if absolutely necessary up until the overhaul. If you get to the overhaul between 15 and 20, I think you're doing kind of really, really well. Just to touch on that, then in terms of our positions and stuff. So I used a transfer yesterday, so I got in Zuma, and I went up to 300 and something position yesterday. I've got 28 left now. Like I say, I've got the Vardy to Bruno move planned on Thursday, so that'll put me down to 27 transfers. I've had a good day today, so I'm hoping to potentially break into the top 200 and something today. But obviously, we'll see how that goes. Potentially do a Chelsea back and forth, but I'm personally hoping to go into the new year with, maybe realistically 24, 25 transfers personally, and being in a position, if I can hold the position roughly at the moment, which will be in the top 200, 300, 400, I think I'll personally be really, really pleased with that. Dan, any thoughts on kind of where you are in your position and stuff, and are you happy with how you're getting on at the moment?
Yeah, I'm happy. So that's annoying that I hadn't updated yet, but yeah, last night both teams were in the top 700. So and I think I got 30 in the B team, and I think I got 29 in the A team. So yeah, I'm happy with that, and I think I could do the same. I'm just going to hope to be sort of around the top 200 coming into January, and have all them transfers, and then just blast it from then, and like make all them moves that we couldn't make last season because we got caught out with a global pandemic and stuff. So, but yeah, happy with how it's gone, considering how many of the hauls we missed, like Salah hat-trick the first weekend when we didn't own him, and to think it's probably tonight we'll all have teams in the top 200 or thereabout, and you think of all them hauls we missed and didn't have Calvert-Lewin at all, or Bamford, and missed all these sort of players scoring goals every week, and just slowly chipping away, and we'll get where we want to be.
How about you, Paul?
Yeah, 230th, and similar transfer account to you guys. And again, I'll be doing the Vardy to Bruno move, and then I've got nothing planned. I probably will hold Gabriel long term. It was as annoying as it was. I'll have time to think about not moving him on for duration. But yeah, I want to try and get to the overhaul with 20-ish transfers. So that's what the plans are. And we should find out the fixtures for January, either this midweek or next midweek, I think, according to Ben Crellin. So
that's right, yeah.
So we'll be able to see if we need any single game days, and therefore if there's any transfers that can be made to gain an extra game prior to that as well. So
I think that's really important as well, is the fact that all the games that land in that first week in January, if you are considering the Chelsea to Spurs or whatever, or kind of however they fall, these extra games in January may actually help you make that decision or not. You could end up with actually a 5-for-2, for example, or something along those lines. So I would, I know it's obvious to experienced players, but if you are new to the game, don't make your transfers, until the day, because you never know what's going to happen with stuff. I suppose just a bit of advice to people who maybe aren't having a good season, or the ones that or the kind of season that they hoped for, and don't be put off by the ranks that that kind of we're on now, right? Because this, we're having a bloody good season. I think a really good season in a strong position. But I would say if you are looking to make a move, look at these Chelsea 3-for-1s, right? Because they are the opportunities, and it could be make or break. You don't have to do it. It could be make or break. But the kind of Werner one, for example, Kane to Werner, you could potentially have 3 Werner games. The Kane's one, and if it does bang, shove you right up the ranks. If it doesn't, it's a bit of a waste. But it's make or break there. But just look for opportunities for these extra captaincy games. Use Ian's transfer planner. Again, we say it every week. It's very boring, but do it because it kind of highlights everything for you. It's all there for you. So yeah, just have a look at those. Quick update on the Fantasy Football Hub £500 League, and we're starting to get a couple of very familiar names now in the top 10 as the season is starting to even out. So in 10th place, Corf FPL, David Corfield, fellow Welshman, very, very good player. Had a good season last year. I think he finished in the top 100 last year, so we need to look out for Corf FPL. In 9th place, John Butchard has moved up 5 places. In 8th place, this is a very, very familiar Sky name, Adam Byram, very ominously moving up. He's on 1,137. This is after last night's update. So I think Adam, I'm not sure where Adam finished in the end. Was it top 20 or 30 last year? Is that right, or am I exaggerating? Or was it the year before? But I know Adam, it did.
He's good at Sky, yeah.
He did really, really well last year. 7th place, Ryan West. 6th, Colin Price. 5th, Michelle Burnett has dropped a couple of places. 4th place, Stuart Below. 3rd, Benjamin Lee. 2nd, Sean Robertson. And Oliver Colgan has moved up to the top with his team, Altador's Army, on 1165. So very well played there, Oliver. We've just been asked about the Cup, actually. Are you guys still in the Sky Cup, do you know?
No, I got bounced out of that.
I didn't even register for it. So
okay, I think I'm still in it, and I think it's my year because I won 3 rounds on the trot by 2 points or something stupid like that. So got an outside chance. Adam just confirmed he finished 28th last year. Yeah, knew he had a good season. So that's very ominous there from Adam. Look out for Adam. Look out for Corf and the rest of the guys there. And finally, our 4 Nations League. So in 8th place, the Podcast 11, which has had a decent weekend. So moved on to my team-ish. So it's done okay. Liam Dorrian and reigning champion 2, 988 points. Paul McAnulty's second team, 1042, but plenty of transfers in hand on that one. Liam Dorrian's first team, 1083. Then we've got Dan's 2 teams on 1105 and 1091. My team was on 1114 in second place and still flying the flag for the Scots. Paul McAnulty on 1125, so he's 11 points ahead of me. Not sure how that'll play out considering today's games, but I think our teams are fairly similar, so I don't think I'm able to quite overtake you, but hopefully I can do that in the coming weeks. So that's the 4 Nations League there. Finally, on to Dan's rant. Dan, what has upset you this week?
I've been all right, actually, mate, because it's a bit, it's getting close to Christmas in it, and had a good week, so I'm not too bad. I'll tell you, that Mino Raiola, he's a numpty, and do you know what I mean? He makes you dislike Pogba more, doesn't he? Just because, just want to tell him, just like, shut up, you fat idiot. Like, what is he going on about? Like, before that game midweek, Paul wants to leave, or, then he's then saying, I just think, just shut up. If he was my agent, I'd just be like, just shut your mouth, mate. Just sort out my cash and do the deals. And keep your mouth shut about me, all right? Do you know what I mean? Just what do football do the talking. So he needs a good walloping. He's annoying. No, not a lot else. I was thinking, it's a bit of a debate. Obviously worked with like about 25 women, all 18 to 24.
Nightmare.
I've thought about this week whether to take some mistletoe in or whether that's just going to be, I'm going to be in front of HR, and I am actually thinking myself, just don't bother. It's more trouble than it's worth, isn't it? But no, I'm pretty chill. But yeah, just hope everyone's had a good week. And just like I say, if you're not a member of the hub, you really should sign up, because like you got your team on there, and you're doing all right. You put your team on every week. I do my articles every week. If you sort of go with what we're doing, you'd be all right. So just give the hub a go. Do you know what I mean? It's only about £1.50 a month, and helps us have a beer, doesn't it, and stuff like that. And if you enjoy it, but more importantly, like you do tune in every week, and do you know what I mean? Be part of the discussion, and like we appreciate you tuning in and all the likes and retweets and everything like that. So not really got anything. Do you want to give any listeners a pop at? Or
no, there was a chap in there earlier. Luke was saying classic Fergie, talking about all his 100 transfers. I'll leave.
Well,
I'll leave that
Sky gave you an extra 20, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, if you do like a stream, they give you an extra 20. So I've used I've used 33, and I got 27 left or something.
I did see someone tweeted out on when Romeo got the man of the match, and that was a bit dodgy. When do you know what I mean?
Was dodgy.
And it was like someone said because he was my captain in one of my teams, and I see someone put like a bit suspicious that he got man of the match when some like well-known people have got him in their teams, and you just like. It's not a conspiracy, mate. They don't if they knew who we had, they probably wouldn't give a man of the match. Do you know what I mean? So
the journalist listens to my love for Romeo every week. That's what it is.
That's exactly what it is. Just a quick update on my questionable bets. My latest one hasn't been that questionable because Dan said that there would be more than two Chelsea clean sheets next 8 games, they've only kept 2 in the they've kept 1 in the last 3. So I only need 1 goal conceded in the next 6. So Dan, I've clawed one back there. Paul, we need to have a bet at some stage. One of the reasons I'm so chilled today is I had my hangover yesterday, and my kind of mini hairdryer is that we had a bit of a hub contributor meetup on Friday evening. There was a lot there. A lot of the FPL guys, about 19 or 20 of us there. We did like really good quiz, had a couple of drinks, etc. People kind of drifted off at like 10, 11 o'clock, and then I found myself, just myself and Paul were left at the end of, I don't know, 11:30, 11:45 or something, and I was just about to leave myself, and Paul went, "Oh, I just opened another can," and then so because he opened that can, I have to open a bottle of gin, and Paul and I were still yapping at 2:45 in the morning. So I had my hangover yesterday, so that's my hairdryer. Paul kept me up till 2:50 in the morning on Saturday morning, chatting, slurring about fantasy football. I was very, very hungover and tired yesterday. And I suppose my only other hairdryer moment was I was so annoyed, and I think it's because I captained De Bruyne yesterday in Sky, but I captained him in FPL as well. And that game yesterday, I was so annoyed watching it. There was a spell in the second half where they were playing at walking pace. I don't know if you guys saw it, if anyone saw it, but they were like, City went on a break and they had like, I don't know, a 4-on-4 or something, and Sterling just slowed right up and passed it all the way back up the line to the defender, and then they were walking around with it. And I've never like. And yesterday with Roy Keane, he said after the game, all the hugging and kissing and being friends, and I was just like, I think that's absolutely right. I find it, they literally just basically gave each other a point, and I was so disappointed from a fantasy view, but also, where's the digs from the 90s? Where's the, Keane shouting at Vieira on the floor? Where's the spirit and wherever else? Even this afternoon in the Spurs game, I think Leclerc was having handbagged with Schlupp, and Dyer kind of grabbed him and said, "Oi, get your head on the game. Come on, we're defending a free kick." You wouldn't have seen any of that yesterday in that Man United Man City game.
Yeah, so it's just all a bit too soft in it. But I remember seeing something before, like I don't know if it was Keane or something. But you'd challenge someone and you'd barge them over, and you wouldn't help them up. Do you know what I mean? I'm all for that. Like, get down there, and like I wouldn't then. I'll become mate. I'd be like, well, no, I'm not using my energy to pull you up. Exactly. You get down there, mate. And I used to level that with like Keane and Vieira, like getting stuck in. And I was going to have that as a bit of a rant. Saying, like, I think football, the Premier League was at its peak in 2004 to 2009, something like that, where we had like 5 Champions League finals in a row. We had 6 teams. Man, you played Chelsea for one of them. Yes, we only won twice, but just seems to be better than, you had, Henry sort of before he went, but Ronaldo, Rooney, Tevez, Berbatov, all these, even Rocky Santa Cruz got 20 goals one season, yeah. Benny McCarthy and Benjani, even when you've done at Portsmouth. I just don't know. I just maybe probably looking back at it, thinking it was better, but at the minute, you just think, just a bit, I don't know.
And that Maguire
like glory days.
That Maguire and Stones hug at the end. Would you ever have seen, I don't know, Tony Adams and Steve Bruce have a big catch at the end of the game?
Did you
just like
do you hear?
Flipping?
Do you listen to Talk Sport?
A little bit.
They did a numpty of the week. I was going to nick that feature for here, but they had this guy, a Man U fan, ring up, and he basically said Salah's rubbish. Salah's no good. He's not world class. He was like, Torres was better than Salah. Torres was scoring against Ferdinand and Vidic, and Salah scored against Maguire. And I'm like, well, yeah, like, do you know what I mean? Maguire's no Ferdinand and Vidic. Do you know what I mean? You sort of think I see that sort of point of it, but I don't know. Maybe we're just old and looking back and thinking it's better, but yeah, it's just all a bit too soft in it and hugging and this, that, and the other. I just wouldn't. I'm not all for that shaking hands before, like after the game. Once you've had a good battle, shake your hand. But before the game, and now just give it to him and get stuck in. And I just probably just old, aren't we?
Yeah, but I'm not sure because like Keane was the captain of a Man United team. I keep using Keane. He's very aggressive, right? But just over the years, that Man United team as a whole, that Man United team who dominated the Premier League, dominated English football, they didn't dominate it by being friends with everyone and giving away points and stuff, right? They dominated because they were aggressive, they were intimidating, they were brilliant at football, never say die attitude, try and win every game. Look at Man United now. Look at them now. Look at their position and look how they played yesterday. Okay, they got a point of Man City, which is all right, but were they in the league? I don't even know. I'm so like bored of watching.
I think they're actually not. I think they're quite up there because I was thinking, oh, Ole's going to get sacked soon. And then when you looked, and I was like, oh, they're actually quite.
They're not going to win the league, mate. They're not going to win the league.
Well, no, yeah.
You know, if you look at the aggression and passion that Liverpool show when they play, look at Henderson, for example, right? You know, look at Jordan Henderson. That's a captain. That's a lead. That's someone who wants to win at all costs. And yeah, I just think it's all a bit matey and fluffy, and you know. Anyway, sorry, going off on a massive rant and tangent there. So thank you to everyone as usual for all your support and your interaction with the live stream. And Martin just said United are 8th. So United are 8th, and then they're hugging their opponents. It's like, you know, if you're first by 10 points, do what you want. You don't do that when you're 8th. Anyway, could everyone please retweet the podcast out tomorrow? That's okay. Probably tweet it out early tomorrow morning. Dan, where can people find you?
Twitter, Dan Cox 82. And my article on the Hub every Friday. I sound like a nod, but it's well worth a read.
It is worth a read. I really enjoy it. Paul, where can we find you?
At Paul McAnulty 1, MCANULTY. And there might be a little surprise for viewers next week, because provided everything gets delivered in time, we've got a very topical Secret Santa live unveiling.
We should be opening next week. So Dan, I need to grab your address. But yeah, I think, what is it? So I'm giving to Dan. Paul, you're giving to me.
Yep.
And Dan's giving to Paul. So we've no idea.
I've sent mine to Paul, and I'm a bit dubious about it now.
So we will get that next week. So this video and podcast will be on the Fantasy Football Hub, Sky and TFF YouTube channel, and also available in all major podcast platforms. If you like what you watch, please click the like button. If you could click like now, that would be very, very much appreciated. And remember to subscribe in the bottom right hand corner of the screen. If you enjoyed your listen, please rate the podcast, leave some comments. Our handles on Twitter, Instagram and TikTok are at FFH_HQ, and our podcast Twitter handle is at FFH_Sky. So please follow and feel free to ask any questions. Tell your friends. I still see loads of people on Twitter who don't follow us and know we exist, and I'm just absolutely baffled by it. So tell your friends, aside from the ones in your mini leagues. Our website is fantasyfootballhub.co.uk, where you'll find everything you need for fantasy football all under one roof, including player comparison tools, the fixture ticker, Opta stats, top player team reveals, and much, much more. Good luck to all our watchers and listeners this week. So all week and next weekend. So we've got, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 captains until we meet again. Best of luck for everyone. So next Sunday will be our final episode before Christmas. So we get to see who is top of the Four Nations League. Top at Christmas. I think whoever's top should get a pint as well. At the moment is Paul, but we'll see. And we'll be looking forward to Sky Gameweek 16, which is the Boxing Day and onwards week. So that's going to be a crazy time. We will see you then. Good night all.